Tuesday tied a 131-year record low of -12 degrees. In Austin, Texas, bridges and overpasses froze over, causing accidents.
Texas still gets cold, and people underestimate that.
And the falls were frozen in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it was 1 degree Fahrenheit early Wednesday.
More than 2/3 of the country woke up today to temperatures below 20 degrees, including here in Times Square.
Ann Harden and her grandson are visiting from San Antonio, Texas.
How are you dealing with the cold?
I'm layered.
Yeah. How many layers do you have on?
1, 2, 3.
3
and
layers.
2 on the bottom.
2 on the bottom.
Look at that.
And in western New York, near whiteout conditions were blamed for a deadly pileup that involved at least 75 vehicles Tuesday. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
And back here at home, new details this morning about the investigation into the death of a Hickman County toddler. 2-year-old Jeffrey Skaggs died in 2001, but new evidence suggests his death may have been a homicide. The little boy's body was exhumed last week. Investigators tell us there's evidence of a massive skull fracture, but we're still awaiting the final report from the coroner. That big-time cash reward is still on the table. For details on who broke into a gun store in Clarksville, thieves smashed into the glass at Double Tap Tactical on Christmas Day. More than 30 guns stolen. The ATF is offering a $2,500 reward, and that's being matched by the National Shooting Sports Foundation. So we're talking a total of $5,000 in reward cash in this case. If you have any information that could help out, call Clarksville Police or the ATF. Country megastar and Mrs. Mike Fisher is updating her fans on that big fall she took that landed her in the hospital. Carrie Underwood revealed she broke her wrist last year, but is now sharing even more personal details, saying that same tumble at her house caused her to need about 50 stitches in her face. She says she's healing slowly, but admits her face won't quite look the same when she goes back to work, resuming her recording career and concerts touring. Certainly we're glad things were not worse and wish her the very best as she recovers. More news on air and online right here on News Channel 5 throughout the day. But first, let's see what's cooking. Here's Meryl.
Thank you, Dan. Well, when it's so cold outside, we all start craving comfort food, but you don't have to blow your healthy eating plan with this recipe makeover. Ann Cox-Eastis is here now from Kroger. You got a great idea for us today.
Well, I took an old recipe I hadn't made in years and took some of the fat out and tried to change the recipe up to be more healthy.
Yeah.
And we don't feel as guilty, but it still tastes great on cold days like this.
So we're making chicken tetrazzini.
Right. And if you have any leftover frozen turkey, that's also good to put in there too.
Okay.
But you're using cooked meat in here. So I've got like 6 to 8 ounces of cooked pasta, and I use the angel hair pasta. You could use the whole wheat if you want to. I just like the thin pasta. And I know they have the whole wheat.
Whole wheat's good too.
Yeah, thin spaghetti.
Okay.
Okay, so then I have, let's put 2.5 cups of cooked chicken, which I went ahead and cubed. I did take the easy way out and bought the chicken breast strips that were already cooked, but I cut them up. And then I took 8 ounces of fresh mushrooms. Now you could save another tablespoon of butter if you use canned mushrooms, but I just like the color and the flavor of the fresh, so I took 8 ounces of them, sliced them up, put them in a skillet with a tablespoon of butter and sauteed them until they began to kind of change color. Put a 1/2 cup of chopped onion in there and a tablespoon of minced garlic. And then I added like 1/4 cup of either chicken broth or white wine, either one. And just stir that and set that aside.
Have you tried it with both the chicken broth and the white wine?
Yes.
Does it change the flavor much with the wine in it?
No.
Okay.
Doesn't. The aroma, while it was
I'm sure that's
was
amazing.
the only thing that was different to me.
Yeah.
You can't really tell a lot of difference. Okay, and then I made a white sauce, but it's not as thick as a lot of your white sauces. I started out with 2 tablespoons of butter and 3 tablespoons of flour, and I dissolved that, and then you gradually add, and I used the lower sodium chicken broth, 2 cups of that, and let that kind of thicken up, and then I added a cup of fat-free half and half.
Okay.
So that's ways that you can reduce your favorite recipes to some of the fat and some of the calories. And then I'm going to pour this in there, and if you'll take your tongs and just kind of stir it all up together, we're going to put it in a casserole that I sprayed with vegetable spray, coated it with vegetable spray. And then we're going to mix all that up and bake it at 350 for about 30 to 35 minutes until it gets really bubbly. And right when you pour it in there, we're going to top it with some Parmesan cheese. But this is very tasty, and I do think it's like a comfort food, particularly this time of the year, and you don't feel as guilty
Yeah.
It's very hearty. It serves 4 to 6, depending on how hearty your appetite is.
And this is a great thing, too, that you could take to somebody who's, just been in the hospital, or, put this in the freezer and you've got it ready when you need to take it.
Right, or take to potluck, anything along those lines. You'll just kind of spread that out there, and I'll sprinkle some Parmesan on top if you want to do that, and I'll put a little bit of the parsley on top to add a little color. We always like to have a little bit of color. You can put a half to 3/4 cup of that Parmesan cheese, just as much as you want to, and some parsley in there for a little color, because we do eat with our eyes as much as we do our taste buds.
We want it to taste good. Well, it smells like it's going to be really good. And thank you.
My pleasure.
Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
Appreciate it. You can get this recipe in the Talk of the Town section at newschannel5.com. Now, let's head over to Leland.
Dating in a digital world can lead to a lot of ups and downs. If you've ever seen MTV's reality series Catfish, then you know it can be shocking when couples finally meet the object of their online affection, only to discover they're not at all who they pretended to be. Catfish co-host Neve Schulman knows that all too well. He was once catfished himself. He joins us right now along with his co-host and producer, Max Joseph. Good to talk to you all today. And Max, we'll start with you here. I'm sorry, Neve, we'll start with you real quick. If you will, this actually kind of started out of a documentary you did on your own experience. For those who still may not know, what is Catfish? And talk just a bit about your experience.
So the documentary Catfish is about me and a 9-month relationship I had as a 24-year-old with a number of people in Michigan, one of whom I was really romantically involved with, who turned out to be very, very different than they had presented themselves to me. And when the documentary of that came out, called Catfish, it sort of spawned a whole flurry of people who had similar stories, who either wanted to share them or were looking for assistance in finding out the truth behind their online love. And so we turned it into a show, and we've been at it now, and we're in our 7th season, about to make our 100th episode. Wow. And it's been a wild ride.
Good, and congrats to you on this season and episode number 100. But let me ask this. After all of this time, are you still surprised with the number of people who are still being catfished?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, it's weird.
I think the numbers are only going to continue to rise.
It makes sense, but it's still bizarre that people are allowing themselves to be deluded more and more. I think.
Really? I mean, look, casinos, right, are still a huge thing. The lottery is bigger than ever. People want desperately to believe that somehow they're going to hit it big. They're going to luck out. They're going to win the lottery, whether it's money or love. Prospects around the country are a little low, and if you can't get out, or if you don't have access to the things or entertainment or culture or education that you want, sometimes an emotional outlet is your best option.
So is it then that look for love where they sometimes will ignore some obvious signs? Because when I watch, me, the viewer, I'm thinking, how could you ignore this? How could you ignore that? So is it that look for love and the fact that they could be the one that's not being catfished that leads to this?
Well, Max uses the frog in the boiling water analogy.
Yeah, it's a accumulation of like little lies, interspersed with a lot of support and listening and affirmation, then more lies, and then another lie, and then you get a month, couple months, couple of years down the line, and then you look at all the lies at once and you say, oh, how did I fall for this? Yes. Well, it happened slowly. Right. And the truth is that, yes, when you're at home and you're in front of your computer or at your phone and you're talking to an avatar as opposed to a human face, it's very easy to imagine the rosiest, most fantasy version of the person, of what your future with that person is going to be like. And people will ignore red flags if they think that they're going to win the lottery.
And let me ask, during this 7-year run, I know you've come through Tennessee a couple of times. What about Nashville? How many trips have you made to the Music City?
I know we've been there
at least once.
Yeah,
I think only once, and I wish we would go again. We've been to Knoxville.
Oh, that's right.
We've been to Knoxville twice making the show, but we've only been to Nashville once. But It was great.
Yeah.
After the episode, I actually stayed.
That's right.
And I took a trip with my dad. We stayed in Nashville. We went to the Country Music Hall of Fame. And then we went to Memphis after that.
Awesome.
Graceland and everything. Yeah. Love it down there.
Well, good to have both of you all with us again today. And number one, congratulations once again on season 7 and the 100th episode.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Leland.
Catch the season premiere of MTV's Catfish, the TV show, Wednesday, January 3rd. Check your local listings for times.
And up next on Talk of the Town, fitness options for everyone in the family, all under one roof. Get some expert advice for fun activities the whole gang can enjoy for a lifetime of wellness. Skycam Live showing us this bird's eye view of Music City. The heat wave, so to speak, that's warming us up a little bit today is going to be very brief. Leland has the scoop on another blast of Arctic air and brand new school closings for tomorrow, too. That's coming up. Plus, keep watching to win free tickets to see Paw Patrol live in Nashville.
This portion of Talk of the Town is sponsored by Electronic Express.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town right here on News Channel 5. It's a cold one, my friend. Do want to update you now on Snow Watch. We had a couple of school systems that had announced earlier they were going to be closed for the remainder of the week and delay the opening of this semester. Brand new to the list, Lawrence County. Lawrence County schools will be closed tomorrow due to illness. Clay County will open at 10 a.m. They open late today. They will open 2 hours late Thursday, Friday. Not on the list just yet, but Sumner County. Your vacation is extended until Monday. Sumner County schools will now be closed Thursday and Friday due to the cold. 7-day forecast coming up for you in just a moment. How cold will it get tonight? More on that in a moment, but now let's head over to Merrill.
Thanks, Leland. Well, here's a great goal for 2018, getting the whole family to be more active and healthy in the new year. John Sexton with Boost Fit Club is here now with some very timely advice. We're all thinking about this right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Or we should be.
Well, it's that time of year, you know, New Year's resolutions and things of that sort.
Yeah. So as we reevaluate the members of our family and how active they either are or are not, obviously we're all looking at screens. I mean, even little kids.
Yes.
How do you get more activity into your life?
Well, that's a great question, you know, and you know, I've got 2 boys that are 10 and 12, one on the way, and so, you know, I can see how they're very engaged in their screens, and as are the adults.
Right.
So, you know, one thing that I think it's important is to kind of reassess your life and kind of look at it. And just to see how active you guys are, and where are you active? Are your kids active? Are they active enough? Are they involved with sports, or could they be involved with sports? So I think that's always the first step to kind of helping your body, yourself, and your family kind of reevaluate to be more active.
Yeah, we're seeing some video from your Boost Fit Club. You've got so many things to do there that the whole family could come at the same time and all be doing different things.
Yeah, that's right. So we do. We offer gymnastics. We offer indoor soccer, swim teams. We have a dance studio. We have an after-school program, and we actually even have our own transportation. So and out-of-school spots. So if it's cold, school's out, they can come in and hang out and be active at our place.
That's really nice.
Absolutely.
So a lot of moms and dads are driving kids back and forth to gymnastics or to soccer or to whatever. You're saying it's a great idea to use that time while you're with them to work out yourself.
That's right. That's right. So, you know, it's real common to take your kid to a soccer practice, for instance, and sit either in your car or on the sidelines and stare at your phone or be on your laptop or something of that nature. So what we promote is to have you actually come in, all be active, maybe in different activities. So maybe your child's in gymnastics or taking swim lessons, and you could be actually getting a workout in yourself, taking a yoga class, a Pilates class, bar, whatever you're into.
The great thing about that is you're modeling good, healthy behavior for your kids.
Well, exactly. So when your child sees you being active, then that kind of shows them, hey, as they're being active, it's like, hey, we're on the same page. You get back in the car, everyone's got worked out a good sweat. You both are, it kind of creates a bond, and so when you start thinking of activity, you start thinking of family time.
Yeah, I mean, even just playing tag or doing something fun with the kids at home.
Yeah, when you go and you play tag, because it's so cold outside right now.
Yeah.
And if you're having a hard time, trying to think of something to do, I mean, gosh, I mean, just like you said, play tag in your house. I mean, it's exhausting.
Yeah, there's a lot we can do and should be doing. Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Thank you
If you'd
so
like
much.
to find out more about Boost Fit Club, they're located on Vons Gap Road in West Nashville. You can get all the details online at their website. It's boostfitclub.com. Well,